The story of Job is one of the most well-known and powerful accounts in the Bible. Found in the Old Testament, the book of Job tells of a man who endured immense suffering and remained faithful to God. Let's walk through his story as recorded in the King James Version of the Bible. Job lived in the land of Uz. He was a man perfect and upright, one that feared God and eschewed evil. He was also a man of great wealth and had a large family, 7 sons and 3 daughters. He possessed 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses. He was the greatest man in the East. Job regularly offered burnt offerings for his children, ensuring they remained right before God. He was not only wealthy, but also deeply devoted. One day, the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. The Lord asked Satan, "Whence comest thou?" And Satan answered, "From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." God then asked Satan if he had considered his servant Job, a man who was perfect and upright. Satan accused Job of being faithful only because God had blessed him. He claimed that if Job lost everything, he would curse God. The Lord permitted Satan to test Job, but he was not allowed to harm Job himself. In a single day, disaster struck. The Sabaeans took his oxen and asses. Fire fell from heaven and burned up his sheep. The Chaldeans stole his camels, and a great wind destroyed the house where his children were, killing them all. Despite all this, Job arose, rent his mantle, shaved his head, and fell to the ground in worship, saying, "The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." In all this, Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. Satan returned to God, arguing that if Job himself were afflicted, he would curse God. The Lord permitted Satan to smite Job with painful boils from head to toe, but his life was to be spared. Job sat in ashes, scraping himself with a potsherd. His wife, overwhelmed, said to him, "Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die." But Job replied, "Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil?" In all this, did not Job sin with his lips? Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, came to mourn with him. For 7 days they sat in silence. Then Job spoke, lamenting his suffering. His friends, believing suffering was a result of sin, urged him to repent, but Job maintained his innocence. Their long discussions continued, with Job expressing his anguish, pleading for understanding, and declaring his faith in God's justice. He said, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him." After much debate, the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind, asking, "Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare, if thou hast understanding." God spoke of his power and creation, revealing his wisdom beyond human understanding. Job, humbled, repented and said, "I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. Wherefore I abhor myself, and repent in dust and ashes." The Lord rebuked Job's friends and instructed them to offer sacrifices. Job prayed for them, and the Lord restored his fortunes, giving him twice as much as before. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. He was blessed with 7 more sons and 3 daughters. And Job lived 140 years and saw 4 generations of his family. Job's story is one of endurance, faith, and divine wisdom. Through suffering and restoration, Job remained faithful, and in the end, he saw the greatness of God.